So let's start out with Wes, because you're already bending forward, so you're ready to go. Let's start with an easy one. Let's talk about Black History Month. How do you feel as a black man living in this country called America? Black History Month.
How do I feel about Black History?
Yeah, how do you feel about Black History Month?
I don't know. I mean, it all depends, man. Like, you go by what you were taught, and then you go by what you were self-taught, if you were smart enough to self-teach. And then, no, I think it's cool, I guess, it's a traditional type of deal. I mean, every month is Black History Month, really, but, being that this is the designated time for it, I just literally, me personally, I always relate everything to movies, as you know, so that's why I just sit back and watch all my black movies. I watch black exploitation films. Getting Mackin, getting Shaft, Blackula.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, it's funny. Now I'm always involved in Black History Month because it's just, when I do my show, I'm usually doing stuff catered to that. You know what I mean? I think this should be, in the times that we're living in now, I'm dedicating my show and this whole month to black creators. You know what I mean? Okay. I think black creators is the thing. We're in a creative times right now. We're in the times where where there's a little more power back to the independent. Mm-hmm. So I think if we, celebrate black creators, that'd be cool. But that's about as far as it goes for me. I don't really deal with the hoopla.
And what about you, Sam?
I feel very neutral on the topic of its existence. If it continues on, great. If for some reason there's petitions to get rid of these tax months, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just because I'm glad it exists as just a little bit of a recognition, just like I'm happy that a lot of these other months exist, like Hispanic Heritage Month and Trans Awareness Week and all the stuff that already exists. But it won't do much for me if it ever goes away. I'll be...
Man, you won't lose no sleep.
Yeah, I think it's very... I guess it brings a lot of awareness, which I think is like the major point. So I guess it's a good reminder, but I do feel it's so limiting, because if you're just reminded in this short amount of time, even discrepancy, Hispanic Heritage Month versus Latin American Month, another conversation, we'll have it another time, but Asian American Month. But yeah, I mean, you should celebrate everyone every day. You should learn something new about every culture, learn something about yourself and your own cultural heritage. But I think I'd look at it different. Being Afro-Caribbean American, it doesn't land the same way for me. Is that the same thing with you, Sam? You think that plays a role?
I wonder. I'm not sure if that's part of why I feel the way I feel, but I will say a lot of different types of ethnocultures are taught within our school system throughout the year. Okay. I just want to, like you said, it's not like they're only taught in February. Okay. But February allows people to remember, who are not of the Black diaspora, that, oh yeah, there's stuff here that I might not have thought about. It's a good reminder for that. That's what it is. But it's not like if it goes away, like kids won't learn about Black figures in American history. That's already in our schools. It's already there. Yeah. It's just like extra here.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because some schools, it doesn't exist until that month.
True. I think it would be interesting. I think Black History Month would be more interesting if they really taught Black history.
I mean,
Wow, wait a minute. That's a shots fired.
No, I'm just saying. What I mean is I think it's interested in, some schools, particularly in Florida, and they don't really care for real Black history. It's like everything else. Like where it is. Once something is structured a certain way, that whatever white man structured it, and they don't want to deviate from that because it's like, no, you need to learn about Martin Luther King. You need to, no, of course you want it, but you should know about him already anyway. But that's a whole nother story. But it's like, it's the same. It's been the same for decades and for generations, and hardly ever, only when they added Obama into Black history. Well, that's like the newest thing they added. But when you have things that come about that talk about the real history of Black Black history, the schools, the governments, it's not the schools, it's the governments that really are not interested in that being added into the curriculum. They're like,
I would also say that outside of just certain areas of Black history not being taught, period, I mean, that's history also. Like basic...
It's regular history. It doesn't have to be
basic American... Yes, but then also basic American history is not complete anyway. Like, they're not going to ever give any complete history, even if we were mono-racial here. Right. It's just not what works with the ultimate goal of the controllers of our society. So no matter what, whether it's race-based or just general, it would behoove families and individuals who have like a inkling or an interest in one section of a certain type or topic of history to just look through it themselves, because so much of what we're taught and how we're taught is not going to be accurate. To the victors go the spoils. We learn the story based on the person who's telling the story. We will have the same history about World War II taught a certain way in Germany, taught a certain way in Russia. It all happened, but we're going to get 3 different stories. It's what's going to happen, period.
Hold that thought, Sam, because I don't want to lose this, because this is important. You helped to start a school.
Yes.
So obviously this had to come up in conversation. Black History Month, school started by people of color.
Yeah.
What were the conversations like, and were there any obstacles, even in a situation you creating a school, of what you should address and not address with Black History Month?
Yeah, we discussed about how we talk about the history of Black people. Right. I'm beginning of using Black as an umbrella term, but it's whatever. I'm going to use it for anyway. And part of it was so many of us, maybe we're around kind of sort of the same type of generation or age, but so many of us, it's like in our schools, it's slavery, and then it jumps to MLK for a lot of us in schooling. Right. And it doesn't, especially if you're not in mixed schooling or schooling that's predominantly Black, it doesn't feel good. It feels pretty not cool. Right. And so one of the things we discussed was, when it comes to history, that we were going to start thousands of years before the transatlantic slave trade. Like, start the children there, so that when we get there, it's like, so we wanted their understanding of Blackness or Africanness to be very general and regular. And again, this is normal. It's normal. And this and the Messiah and the Malian Empire, and then the lightweight boats along the currents of the Atlantic Ocean, and the trading with the Aztecs, like that was going to just be normal, and then boom.
Right.
So it's not starting there.
Right. That's powerful.
Yeah, so that's how we discussed how we were going to teach history.
That's very powerful.
And that would take that would definitely take longer than 27 days.
No, I mean, the whole school was kind of focused more on, it was Black centered, it was African centered, So we were centering ourselves.
That'd be like whenever. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked that question, because an institution that centers its whole makeup around learning as much as you can possibly learn, and then boom, Black History Month comes up. It's like, well, we do this all the time. This is this is not a short amount of time. Is that a furry person?
Very.
A furry person?
No.
Oh, I thought it was a dog or something. So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. So, all right, so let's stop there.